boys. Welcome to a sequence that's a taste of what we're going to be doing in the early morning classes at Bend Over Backwards Yoga starting Monday, May 25th, 2020. It's just a little taste of some of the things that we'll be doing for those of you who might not be joining us, or perhaps as a preview for those of you who will. We've got simply a belt and a blanket. And as I've said previously, if a buckle belt isn't available to you, maybe a tie or a garment belt will be available. I've got my belt folded in 4, and I'm keeping it in one hand as I turn away from you momentarily and bring the head, neck and shoulders onto the blanket. My knees are bent, as you see, and I'm stretching the belt up toward the ceiling and then moving it overhead to the floor. If when I reach above my head, the hands don't reach the floor, I might put down a bolster or foam locks or something that I can press down with the hands into. As we press down with the back of the hands, the back of the shoulder joint spreads. The shoulder blades spread away from the spine. The front body comes in rather than arching away from the floor. Keeping those actions, I extend first the right leg and then join with the left leg in Supta Tadasana, Ardha Hastasana, arms overhead, Ardha Hastasana. The legs stretch away, the thighs firm, the calves long, and the back body extending away from the legs. When I raise the arms again, my intention is to lift the arms from the side body, the back body, to stretch up and away without overarching the low back. So I go up and down 5 or 6 times, just to get the feeling of the arms and shoulders working together, waking up the upper body, as well as keeping in mind the actions of the legs and the lengthening of the spine. Supta Tadasana, Ardha Hastasana. Following that, I'll just take my belt alongside and keeping the left leg long, embrace the right knee toward the right side of the body. Here the groins must soften to bring the knee towards me. It's tempting to pull with the arms, but rather than that, send the message to the groins to soften and to allow the knee to come close to the right side of the body. Then, when you've reached your capacity for today, hold the knee with the left hand, use the right thumb, and just lengthen that outer hip away from you in that direction. Then, extend the leg, plant that right heel firmly, embrace the left leg, maybe changing the interlace of the fingers to do that, and softening the left groin, draw the knee toward you. To whatever extent is willing to come. And then hold that knee with the right hand and with the left thumb, just glide that outer hip thigh away from you as the knee comes toward you. And then extend the leg. Now the feet are joined, the thighs are turning in. See now if the arms can extend up and overhead and the hands can touch the floor simultaneously. Press the arms down, press the heels down, and counter any intention, any effort of the body to arch away from the floor at the low back. Don't let it happen. Keep the pelvis moving towards the wall, keep the spine moving away from the wall. And then join the hands, bend the knees, shift the hips such that the right ankle will come just above the left knee. Here, the outer right thigh moves away. This position of the legs, Ardha Padmasana or half lotus pose, is incremental, as all yoga poses are. You might find that the foot can slide a little further down the thigh towards you as you stretch out into the heel, so that all around the ankle joint the skin is free. You might be able to reach inside the thigh and draw the thigh towards you and nudge that outer thigh away with the right elbow. As the knee comes toward you, this knee comes toward you, the outer thigh moves away from you, and all around the ankle joint, the skin is free and smooth. You're creating space in the hip as this thigh comes in. Then you could set the left foot down, embrace the right foot in the crook of the left elbow, embrace the knee and lift the chest to deepen the posture. Setting the right foot down, changing sides, the left ankle comes above the right knee, or maybe a little lower if the body permits. The outer left thigh goes away as the right knee comes toward us. This is another way of working, of easing this outer thigh away, of drawing this knee towards us. Or we could reach through and catch the back of the thigh. You could use a belt if you need to. Or we could reach through and catch the front of the shin. But we want this elbow to do the job of pushing that left thigh away. So I'm working this way today. Drawing the thigh in, nudging the left thigh away, drawing the right thigh toward me. It produces a very interesting sensation in the left hip and the left buttocks. I showed the next step, which is to set the right foot down, to coil the right elbow around, the left elbow around, to lift the chest, and to bring the thigh close in. Another way of working. Then the foot steps down. We'll shift our bodies onto the right side, support the head, and come up from that position. Now, when we work with Chatush Sarvangasana, we've used foam blocks, we've used a chair, we've used all kinds of props to create that posture. But the posture that in a sense comes before Chatush Sarvangasana, chatush padasana, we're going to use a belt. And we're going to use the belt around the ankles of the feet. I folded my belt in half, turning my back to you and then to the floor. Chatush padasana has the shoulders, the shoulder blades, the head, and the neck on the blanket. From here, we stretch the top of the buttocks away from us, and this is to lengthen the lumbar spine. We set our belt across the front of the ankles. And you can see I'm coiling my hand around the belt, so I've got a good grip on it. The feet are separated. And I've pulled the feet towards me and turned the heels out. Now feel for the four corners of the feet. Feel for the shoulder blades pressing down. And when you're ready, push into the feet. Lengthen the tailbone away from you, and then coil the upper shoulders under you, and pulling with the belt, lift the chest and lengthen the tailbone toward the back of the knees. Pull and lift. Push down with the feet and lift the hips. Pull and lift with the arms. Press the back of the arms down, lift the side body even more. Strengthen and lift, and lengthen and lift. When you come out, release this and push the top of the buttock away from you and set down. If you can go again, if you can repeat, do that. And like all of the postures that build stamina and strength, you can stay. It's a very interesting experience to lengthen the holding of each posture that brings benefits to you. The Iyengar tradition is quite clear about the importance of timing, as it's called. And as we refine our poses, we find that we can stay a little longer each time we occupy the pose, if we're in good health, if we've slept well, if there are no disturbances. We find that we can hold the postures longer and they penetrate from outer body towards inner body. And they have a profound impact on things we cannot see. The nervous system, for example, the adrenal body, but also the spirit self, the quiet underlying self beneath all of that. That self begins to have a little more strength of voice. It begins to speak to us a little more frequently and clearly because the yoga postures have cleansed. Remember that word, sausha, from Words on the Wall. The cleansing aspects of yoga take away stress, preoccupation, and leave a quiet mind, a quiet body. In Shavasana, you can set up Shavasana in any way you wish. I use a blanket because I think it's very important to rest where the spine and the brain meet, the old reptilian brain, so that it is completely calmed and not preoccupied with fighting or fleeing. And so in your posture, you might want to use a chair or foam blocks or bolsters to release some part of the body that's reluctant to release. Or you can, as I'm showing, classical Shavasana, the mat only has a blanket. The top of the body stretches away, the legs stretch away, the legs join and then release. The arms stretch away from the shoulder joints. My chest is lifted, my back is not touching the floor at this stage. Now the back is touching, now the elbows, now the arms. All of that. And then I lift my head and look to see, oh, the legs drifted a little. Let me correct that so the legs are coming straight out of the hip sockets. Oh, the eyes are covered with specks. Let me take the specks away. Here, the welcoming release of Shavasana and all of the senses drawn inward, away from the outer world, pratyahara, calm and quiet. At this stage, you might ask, where is the mind going? Are we going into the daily preoccupations of thoughts? Or can we instead focus on the body and watch each part of us, from the skin on the outer layer to deep inside the heart, the liver, the digestive system? Can we begin to penetrate inwardly, to feel what's going on inside? Can you hear the steady rhythm of the heart? Can you notice how it becomes slower, more regular? Do you have a sense of the digestive system from the salivary glands in the mouth to the stomach, to the lengths of bowel? Do you have a sense? Is it full? Is it empty? Do you have a sense of the lungs as they receive and release the breath? Do they seem to be functioning in the same way? Right lung, left lung? Are there differences? Look inside. Let your awareness penetrate inwardly in Shavasana. You can always think your thoughts and let your mind wander. parts of the day. But just for this 10 minutes, give yourself your full attention, lovingly, looking inward. And when you're ready to release your Shavasana, hands come onto the front body, knees bend, body shifts a little. You might turn to the right side, and then turn all the way over to the left side. And then turn again to the right side. And come on from there. Gita Iyengar, Mr. Iyengar's daughter, and during her life the foremost teacher of Iyengar Yoga. Her book, Yoga, a Gem for Women, highly recommended. Gita says that when we come out of Shavasana and turn first one way and then the other, and finally to the right, we're activating channels in the body that meet along the pathway of the spine at the chakras. These channels of the body, the Ida and the Pingala, also affect the right and left hemispheres of the brain. And when we turn side to side, we're activating first one and then the other. On the right side, the channel is enlivening and brings energy. We need that. So when we come up from Shavasana, we're ready to get on with the day. The left channel is associated with the calming or quietening aspects of left brain. Join hands, bring them in toward the heart. Decide if you're offering the benefits of your pose to anyone or any place. Namaste.